Well, welcome, Elondria. Welcome to Echoes of New Eden once again. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Well, it's nice to hear that you're doing all right. So, yeah,
Yeah.
the first time we talked, you spoke all about Borg, and you educated me on Borg and all of that, and that was a pretty good episode. I learned a lot. It was fascinating. But this time around, we actually have a special episode. We got some maybe not so much breaking news, but we got a story to tell that happened about a month or so ago, right?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah,
Right at.
this story's been kind of covered up recently. Not many people has been talking about it, but trying to figure out what exactly happened. You know the whole story, of course. You were victim to it. So tell us what happened, and we'll
Well,
and
the cover up
yeah.
was so extensive it even led Damon XL to put out a story saying goodbye to me from the game because the cover story was me taking a break because they wanted me to leave the game. And it's just a real mess. It really is. I'm no longer the queen of the board in E. And I'm no longer that because I was forced to step down. And really, before I go any further in that, I'd like to go over the kind of the reasons that happened. But yeah, I think it's really important that people know the truth of what happened. I was kind of forced to participate in that cover up at first, and didn't really have any choice in the matter. But there's an old saying, "The truth shall set you free," and I really think that people deserve to know the truth about what happened, especially people, some of the people closest to me who don't know because it was decided in the process of the cover up and me stepping down that the basic line board member doesn't know what happened and why.
Right.
So yeah, that's I really want to get the truth out there because I think people deserve to know, and I really need to tell what happened because it's something that happened to me that wasn't right and it wasn't warranted, but they did it anyway.
So tell us what happened.
Well, let's go over why it happened. What led up to it? What caused the leadership of Pantheon to go down this road and take the actions that they did against me? Because I think that's an important part of understanding the truth of what they did is their motivations behind it. Because I've done a lot of investigation on the reasons why they did what they did and the marks, and you can't see finger quotes on voice, so you finger quotes marks against me that they just tallied them up and decided it was time to throw me away and get rid of me because I was a threat to their authority. But one of the things that they really didn't like is that I know everybody. I talk to everybody. I was talking to a lot of people, and there are sometimes in an organization what I call hair on fire people. Those are people who get upset about something that is being brought up and a possibility, and it sets their hair on fire, and they run around with their hair on fire, and they don't know what to do with themselves. And usually, those people, if left to their own devices, will do something stupid and drastic. So whenever a hair on fire person comes to me, I try to calm them down. I will put out their hair, so to speak, and try to inject rational thought into them. And one of the rational things that I try and tell them to do, well, if this is bothering you, let's discuss it. Let's bring it up and have it discussed because we're all adults. We're all playing this game together. We're in a community. So if something's bothering you and setting your hair on fire and causing you to panic and say, "Oh no, this is in the world," let's discuss it. So that's what I would do when people came to me with their hair on fire. And one of the things they came to me with their hair on fire with was taxes. Because Pantheon, already having one of the highest tax rates in the galaxy, granted it did fund a lot of services, but definitely the highest rates in the galaxy, uh, they wanted to raise it. And this was before Nihilus Space came out. And some people were saying this was a hard limit for them, that they couldn't afford the increase, and they were going to have to walk or something else, find somewhere else to be. So I felt that it needed to be discussed. I felt that we needed, as a community, to discuss our worries and our problems, and come together and realize that maybe we should wait until when Nihilus Space comes out and then look at increasing tax. Because I understand the need to tax. I do understand that programs have to be funded. But apparently bringing that up and being the one to bring it up, it did get other people involved and them participating in the conversation, but it was my neck that brought it up. So that was a mark against me. Another thing was there was a system, OTAC-P, that an organization went through all of the correct procedures and everything, this Russian corp, and they went through all of the right procedures to claim the system according to Pantheon rules. And that system was unclaimed. There was nobody who, since my time as SOB officer, had said, "Oh, TAC-P is ours," and nothing was written about it. And I had anticipated that maybe the previous SOB officer maybe didn't keep the best record, so I had sent out several pings in the Alliance leadership channels, both the council and the corp officers, and telling people, if you've got a claim, contact me, let me know where you're at, and make sure we've got everything recorded. Trying to curtail this very kind of issue. But not more than just 2 or 3 days after they had signed the ink and claimed the system, after going through the process and getting it claimed, another group led by somebody who of prominence in the Alliance opened up a ticket and said they were dropping a Corp Citadel there and claiming that SOB. And they claimed that the previous SOB officer just didn't write it down. They had, other than not paying attention to pings, because when asked why they didn't answer any of the pings, they couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the shit ping. So I didn't feel that particular organization should be awarded it, because they didn't do what was necessary to keep their claim. I never questioned that they were lying or anything like that. That person is somebody who is trusted. I didn't think they were lying, but I didn't feel that they did what they needed to do to keep the claim. And they had not done that, and so it had gone unclaimed in our records and given to somebody else. And that particular group had done everything right. They had checked all the boxes, done everything they needed to do. So I felt it should go to them. It shouldn't be awarded to that prominent person's organization. And I'm specifically not naming names here, because the parties involved will know who it is, but I see no need to throw mud at people. But it was decided by leadership that prominent person's organizations get it, and the other organization was forced to have a new home. I didn't agree with that, and so that was a mark against me. Another thing was there was a lot of people saying that, again, the taxes, we're back to taxes. Taxes are a problem, and so some people would come to me and said, if we could see where all the tax money is going for, maybe we could figure out a way to do it, but we have no clue. And so I was like, we need a budget then, right? I mean, governments across the planet use budgets. Community organizations, everybody, homes use budgets. Households use budgets to budget their expenses and their income to make sure that they're not going in a hole. Well, I suggested that maybe we should get a budget so everybody could see where the tax money is going, and so we can see that there is a need to raise taxes based on the programs and their costs, what you're wanting to run. And I did not realize that asking for a budget was akin to questioning the very integrity of leadership and their handling of our money. And I was given a 5-day countdown to declare whether Borg actually wanted to be in the alliance. I thought I took care of that. I told him, yeah, I didn't realize that a budget was a problem. We're happy here. We're wanting to continue to be a part of the alliance. But apparently that was a pretty big mark against me. Then of course there was the LWX Citadel. Now that's an interesting case. It was dropped by a corporation that Borg has a long history with. But putting that aside, you have to look at the severity of the situation. Now, they, for some reason, named it Kerensky's mom. It was some sort of inside joke between their former CEO, who's kind of had to step away, and Kerensky. And it was not intended with malice or anything like that. At worst, it was a bad your mama joke. Well, Pantheon leadership decided that it was extremely toxic and it needed to be destroyed. And they made that group destroy it. But whenever it was being discussed that was a problem, I said that, fine them something, some sort of penalty, but making them blow up that large of an investment is a mistake. That's a severe penalty for something that is at worst a poor taste your mama joke. It's not worth costing that organization something that they worked very hard to put down. He didn't care. They made a big deal out of it, and I think that might have been the last mark against me that maybe made them decide that I was just a little bit too vocal in questioning their decisions, and wasn't that I was drawing any lines in the sand or anything like that, making any ultimatums. Just saying, I speak my mind, and if you're making a mistake before the decision is made, because I thought we were discussing what the decision should be, I'm going to tell you what I think, what I actually think. I'm not going to hold back and stand on some sort of need to protect one's ego or something like that. Because I was an alliance officer. I thought that's what you do is you tell leadership the truth about a situation, that it's a mistake and it's going to cause hard feelings. They didn't care and decided it needed to blow up anyway, and they didn't even help that corp with that new citadel. In fact, they planted a citadel there themselves, Bananas Corp actually, and I'm not sure that I can actually say the name of the citadel on this podcast.
That's fine. So I counted 4 marks against you. Why did they use these marks against you?
Well, they didn't like me questioning their authority or bringing up problems. In their mind, I think they felt that I was the one stirring up the trouble. Maybe I wasn't. I was trying to put out trouble. And in my mind, the way you put out trouble is you discuss things, you come together, and you work things out. That's the way adults do it anyway. But that's not apparently how they do it.
Right. So you're accused of stirring trouble. You're accused of greed, personal greed at that.
Yes.
And you were accused of defending the LWX Citadel, the Kerensky's mom, by even stating something as simple as, hey, we might get an update someday to where we can change the name.
Exactly. And so all that put them on course to do what they did. And what they did is fabricate evidence that I was plotting to overthrow Banana and take over Happy Bees. That I was gathering corpse up to overthrow him. And it was a conversation that I wasn't involved with. Two people just talking, one person talking shit about me, and the other person just kind of, nodding, kind of, the text equivalent of nodding. And that was used to convict me of sedition. And I was then told that I was no longer CEO of Borg, that it was now Lexia's, and if I did not accept that, Borg would be kicked and set red, and that we would be hunted. So I had a decision to make. I could either take Borg out under fire with the understanding that some people would choose not to be under fire and find a different home. It would completely shatter the family and community that I had built. So I did the only thing I thought a good leader could do. I threw myself on the grenade. I accepted that I was no longer CEO, as they said, and I passed everything to Lexia. I did this, of course, understanding that Lexia cares just as much about Borg as I do. So at least I knew that I was leaving Borg in good hands. And then I waited for them to make the ultimate decision in my fate while participating in a cover-up that I was supposed to keep quiet and not tell anybody what was happening and what I was being forced to do.
Did they tell you can't say anything about it?
Yes. I was supposed to basically, in no uncertain words, sit down and shut up and wait for a decision. But I told a few friends. I was going through some stuff. It was hard. Everything that I had built over the last 1.75 years was being taken away from me for stupid political gain. It was hard. So I talked to a few friends, or at least I thought they were all friends, but apparently one of them turned me in. And so then that suddenly I wasn't upholding the agreement right. So apparently Alexia had talked to them and worked things out where I could be just a drone in Borg and hang out with my family and just mine and putt around in the game. And I was willing to accept that. I was willing to accept that because I wanted to be with the family and community that I had built. But no, they decided that I was to be set red now. Now that I was no longer CEO of Borg, well, they didn't have to kick Borg anymore. It was all focused on me. So they set me red on all of Pantheon, had me red for half a day until Lexia calmed them down. And I was ready to leave the game. I really was, because I didn't see a way out.
Well, to the members, when you stepped down from CEO, that was the going story, though, right? For their protection.
Yes, that I was taking a break, although there's rumors that I stepped down for health reasons and things like that as well. And none of that is true. I am actually a little bit healthier now that I've left Pantheon than I was in Pantheon. Because I used to have what I called a 350-pound person standing on my chest. I would have to take nitro pills after a simple exertion because and I had to have stents in my heart in October. I spent Halloween in the hospital getting that done. Apparently Pantheon was literally killing me between that and the stress of where I was before that. And as soon as I got kicked from Pantheon, it's like that 350-pound man went on Weight Watchers, and within a day he was pretty much gone, and I haven't had to take a nitro pill since. So the stress of that environment and what that leadership puts the people through, it's bad. It is bad for the health. It really is. People should not be having to go under that much stress for a game. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be relaxing. We're supposed to be enjoying ourselves. but that's not the environment over there. It's all about power. Really, what it comes down to, being number one and crushing everyone else, and bullying everyone else. I've seen it. So that kind of environment puts a lot of stress on somebody, especially in somebody who doesn't really like that kind of environment. And people need to understand that you don't have to live like that. You can vote with your feet. Yes, moving sucks. Trust me, I had to move 19 characters halfway across the galaxy. That was an exceptionally unpleasant experience. But I'm happier now. I really am. I'm not having to take nitro pills every day or multiple times a day just to do simple life things because I'm so stressed out. And I didn't even realize how stressed I was. I was so deep, knee deep in the stress, I didn't realize that it was the cause of my problems.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad that you're doing better health wise. But man, it's just hard to believe it's that stressful over there.
It really is. And I did not realize that the stress, I went from one stressful organization to another. And this one was even worse. I thought it was better at first. And it seems that going from number two to number one changed the temper and tone inside leadership. And there's an old saying, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yeah, they've gotten a taste for power and they like it. And that's just not the way you're supposed to game.
Right.
It really isn't. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be our escape from the poop of the real world. Yeah, it's our escape. It's our way of doing something fun to reduce the stress that life causes us. But there's in some places in this galaxy, there's more stress in this game than there is in anybody's life, and that's just not the way it should be. I mean, anybody who's feeling like they're really stressed out and they're thinking about quitting, they're so stressed out. Don't quit. Vote with your feet. Move somewhere else. I know pretty much everybody in the galaxy. I'm happy to find anybody a place to play where they can have fun and relax.
So before you got completely removed from Borg, wasn't there like some sort of council or some vote for you to come back to be a line member, basically, or at least to stay in the community? And that failed to pass, ultimately sending you on the road.
Yeah, the ultimate result of that is what I believe is what set me red. Because they decided that I had been talking to people and stirring up trouble. And all I had done is talk to a few friends, or at least I thought they were friends, but somebody reported me.
And was that how you found out that these marks were used against you? That they've had these grudges?
That I found out. I rebuilt the case against me after the fact, because while I saw the actual evidence, the finger quote evidence of my sedition, that was passed to me, but I had to reconstruct that by talking to people, and not everybody voted yes. So yeah, I was able to reconstruct the kind of the case against me, and ultimately they decided to throw me away like garbage. I did a lot for that alliance. I brought in corporations and organizations. I promoted it. I spoke very highly of it, and I really expected better. I really did. I really expected better. And through this whole process, Banana sent messengers. He never directly spoke to me. Not a single word. And if you don't have him as a friend, you can't send him messages. So, yeah.
Talk about the emotional toll that this had on you.
It was extremely high. It was devastating. I fell into a very deep depression there for a bit. I wasn't really eating or sleeping very well at all, and it was taking a toll on my health in of its own. My stress was reduced, but my spirit was for a while a little bit broken. But I stayed in the game because I was invited to be a part of this incredible family, this group of people who took me in as a refugee when I had nowhere else to go. And they didn't just take me in, they made me family. And that's a debt I can never repay. I will be spending the rest of my time in this game repaying that debt. They've done a lot for me. And I have to tell the audience that that's your organization, Rambo. That's Red One, Creepers. And I am so grateful for you opening your home to me, sheltering me when I needed shelter because I lost everything that I had.
Yeah, and I seen that. I knew what you're going through. And I couldn't let you have that happen to you. I needed to make you feel better. I needed to give you a home. What they did wasn't right. Like you said, they threw you out like yesterday's garbage.
They really did.
They took everything from you. Your family, your organization, your friends, everything that you've done, all the work that you've done in Borg.
Yeah.
They overnight they kicked you. You wake up the next day and you're corpless, lionsless.
Yeah.
And you had to fight and struggle just to get info, just to be told that you can't say anything.
Yeah. And I was actually warned not to screw with Goonswarm. That they are not people to be trifled with. I was actually threatened not to take any action against them for what they were doing to me. To basically sit down, shut up, be a good girl, and go away.
Now, in this case, you weren't the only one to have gotten blacklisted, though. Multiple people got blacklisted.
Yeah, and it continues to this day. I'm hearing about people who are having problems with their leadership. It's crazy the way they just throw people away, and I think it may have something to do with the fact that the leader of Pantheon doesn't even play this game. He doesn't have the same bonds that everybody else has of friendship and combat and doing things with each other and hanging out. He doesn't have those bonds. And I honestly do not understand why people follow somebody who doesn't play the game. I mean, look at GenFed and Mama Source. She busts her ass playing the game. Look at Nihilus. I see him in Fleet all the time. Where's Banana? I don't know. I've never actually seen him in game ever. I just it boggles my mind. But it is an explanation in my mind of maybe that's why he's so willing to just toss people out because he doesn't care. I don't know, but it is the only thing that I can figure out to rationalize his behavior. But everything that has happened and everything that they've done, you know, coming to Red One and SHH is just a line person. Every red organization in the galaxy has tried to recruit me because they fully expect me to want to take revenge and shoot Pantheon for them doing what they did. But that's not me. That's just not who I am. I'm not seeking to beat war drums against Pantheon. The only thing I'm seeking to do is telling people that if you're unhappy, there's a better way. There are better places. Don't be miserable in your game. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not seeking to destroy Pantheon or follow a path to revenge or anything. I'm my problem is with their leadership. But the basic line pilot of Pantheon is an incredible person. In my time in Pantheon, I met so many incredible and wonderful people. And what kind of selfish person would I be if I just wanted to destroy their home to get revenge and cause them pain in the process? I mean, it's unfortunate that Pantheon's path and Pantheon's actions are going to cause them pain in and of itself. An organization like Pantheon never lasts because it takes so many actions against people that it implodes from within. I just want to move on, and I've started a new corporation, the Sith Collective, and instead of focusing on revenge, I'm challenging my energy and efforts into building something positive again, just like I did with the Borg Collective. Basically, you can take the queen out of the collective, but you can't take the collective out of the queen. I'm Borg at heart, and since I'd been feeling like I had been thrown to another universe, so to speak, because it's a lot different up in the north than it was down in the south, where I'd been spent my entire game life, and I'd been playing Star Wars, The Old Republic. And I was playing a Sith there, so it came together as a matter of fusion, and I became the Sith Collective. What happens when the Borg Queen gets thrown into another universe and assimilates the Sith Empire? And that's what you get whenever you get the Sith Collective. Additionally, I'm working on the Borg Collective gaming community because I'm still the Borg Queen of Second Galaxy. I still run things there, and we're looking at expanding into other games. We run the Cube and Shop Titans, and we run D&D games and everything like that. All sorts of things. I'm building the old Borg Discord because they were, I think, forced by Pantheon to move to a new Discord because I'm an OPSEC risk, and so the old Discord is still there. I feel it should do some good for the community. So we're redesigning it as a gaming community. It's going to provide tools to Eve Echo's players to kind of, especially some of the smaller groups that want to kind of meet and coordinate with other people in the galaxy, and they don't want to have to go through the Eve Echo's Discord, which is heavily moderated, and not a lot of services and things like that. Not a lot of opportunity for chit chat. So I'm trying to focus on positive things and move forward in a positive direction rather than dwelling on vengeance or revenge or some other foolish endeavor.
And you just recently got that Borg server back, right?
Yes. The I've been working on changes kind of behind the scenes for a little while now, but a lot of the changes went live today. The name changed, and there's been a lot of changes over there today. So those will continue over the next few days, as there's a lot of work to do, and I didn't want to make a lot of the structural changes until the EE Borg Collective was fully finished with the server and fully transitioned over to their new home. So there's a lot of them there. There will be Sith there, and there'll be people from around the galaxy there. Be an open marketplace and public intelligence to share gate camps, so people traveling around the galaxy can share these kind of things with each other. Just a way to help the community coordinate and come together and lift us all up.
What's really the goal of telling the story? Is this just to uncover the cover up and tell the normal line members what happened and get the truth out there? Because
Yeah, because
nobody's saying anything.
yeah, nobody's saying anything. And I abhor, I hate a cover up. But I was afraid if I didn't participate at first, that they were going to take it out on my family. And there was kind of a veiled threat that if I really effed up in their eyes, which would be basically, I think, what they're doing now, they were going to take it out on my family anyway. And so I threw myself on a grenade for them because I love them. They truly are a family to me, and I didn't want to see them hurt, suffer, or be scattered to the four winds. And so participating in the cover up was additional grenade to kind of protect them, and it was a win-win for Borg, but it kind of left me holding the bag, so to speak. And that's kind of what telling the truth is about. Is it's getting this burden off of me of suffering in silence, so to speak. That I feel like I've had to lie, and I have. Participating in a cover up is lying. I didn't tell the truth to people who were asking. I just said I'm taking a break and things like that. I had to lie to people. I'm not a liar. I hate lying. It keeps me up at night. It makes me not sleep. And having done that, it eats at you, and it was eating at me. And then getting the truth out there and letting it be told is it's going to help me sleep better at night, because
Yeah.
I will have corrected the fact that I had to lie for them.
And your eating habits too.
Yeah. I have gone multiple days without eating, and then I eat a little bit, or I have to be on a fluid diet because it messes my body up so much because I have chronic illnesses and disabled, and it not consuming sustenance really has a bad effect on my body, and it threw me for a loop. I'm trying. I really am. I ate some today, and I ate some yesterday. Not as much, and it wasn't due to hunger. It was due to finding something to eat. In this case, tacos, and try to find some little bit of joy in that. Yeah, I did. A lot of it has to do with some very wonderful people in my life telling me that I can't let this eat me up, and I need to take care of myself. And it's greatly appreciated, all those people who have done that for me. And they know who they are.
I was going to say, go ahead and name names because they're the heroes.
Still Crane, Nihilus, Rambo, Ali. Yeah, the list can go on and on. Those are some of the big voices, though. So many people caring about me and letting me know that didn't matter my station in the game, my space importance, or whether I was red, blue, green, gray, didn't matter. They cared about me. And that's why I do the things that I do. Why all the things I did for the community is because of that. The true building of bonds of friendship and family.
Yeah, I believe firmly that people play this game to get away from issues and stress and whatever else.
They
And
really do.
to
You never.
be in a corp or an alliance that has that kind of drama, if not worse than real life stuff, it's not worth it. It
It's
can't
really
be.
not.
It's not. It's just
No,
not good for your health.
No, it's not. And when your game stresses you out more than your real life, you've got to look at how you're playing your game. Where are you at? What are you doing in that game? It's not the game itself that's stressing you out. It's where you're at and what you're doing in it. And if it's stressing you out, then you're doing it wrong. You're in the wrong place. And of course, it may not be that you're doing it wrong. The people who are deciding things for you and affecting your gameplay are doing it wrong. And you shouldn't stay around that. You should vote with your feet. And anybody in the galaxy who is wanting anywhere else to go, I know everybody. I can open a door for you in any number of places, and I'm more than happy to do that because I know the benefit of having that stress lifted from you. The the feeling of just being able to breathe and move when you couldn't before. I mean, I don't know if it was stress. Maybe I was in a constant state of a panic attack. I don't know, but it was literally killing me. And that should not be what we expect from our game. Our games are supposed to bring us joy and fun and happiness and laughter. And I have to tell you, I'm in a lot of organizations in the galaxy observing through intelligence means, and there are a lot of good groups out there who are doing just that. And then there are some that are not. But their members are stressed and they worry if they're going to get kicked tomorrow or what's going to happen. What edict is going to come down for the Alliance now? How is it going to mess with my gameplay? They worry about those things because the people in charge of where they're at don't have their best interest in heart. They don't have their gameplay and their fun. That's not their primary concern. Their concern is what all these people can give them in the form of power and position. That is not the way that the game is meant to be played. That's not the way a leader in a gaming community should be. A leader in a gaming community, their position exists to provide the people who trust them with that position with fun, enjoyment, and joy. Give them something to do, content and happiness, and some way and distraction from the real world, which is, let's face it, if you've watched the news lately, is kind of crappy.
So what's stopping people from leaving and going to better places?
Some of it is just fear. Some of it, they don't know if there's anywhere better. They worry anywhere that they go is going to be worse. Some people just have a lot of crud and they just are afraid of the effort that it's going to take to move. And some people, they just develop a sense of apathy and that that's just the way things are, and that's just the way the game is played, and there's nothing else, and that's just the way it is. And if they want to play the game, they just have to accept it as part of the game. Any number of those things are reasons that people choose not to vote with their feet. But none of those people who are choosing those reasons are truly happy. None of those people are truly enjoying the game anymore. They play because they enjoy the people that they surround themselves with in the immediate circle. But there comes a point when even that isn't going to be enough, and that's why people drop off from the game like flies. People can't what if themselves to death. They can't worry that they're not going to be able to be a success somewhere else, or that they're not going to have fun somewhere else, because there's a lot of places in the galaxy in New Eden to have fun. There's a lot of places to be successful. There's only a few places where you just have to be miserable in order to play, and those are not places that you should be. I think the people in those places know what those places are, so I don't think I need to name any names. But there are places that just are not deserving of taking away from your joy in life, and not deserving of stressing you out to play a game. Find somewhere better. Find your joy and your happiness in playing again. You'll have a renewed sense of exhilaration and wonder why you waited so long.
Or how about just play the game and not the Discord game?
That can work for a time, but the problem is that Discord is the means of communication for the people who take actions in the game. And whether you avoid Discord or not, eventually actions taken in bad faith by leadership will affect you. There's no avoiding it. And it will affect your friends who are on Discord, and their misery can be contagious. Or your best friend that you enjoy ratting with every day just suddenly doesn't log in. A week goes by, you have no clue. And you finally decide to check out that Discord, and you see a long rant about how horrible things were. And they're gone. No more friend. They've left the game.
How about to those people that woke up with their friend back blacklisted?
I have to say to those people, you know your friend. There's a lot of BS reasons why people are being blacklisted and kicked and things like that in some of these organizations. If you find your friend is suddenly blacklisted, you need to ask yourself, did that friend actually do what they're being accused of? Did they deserve to be blacklisted? Because if they didn't, and you don't think they did, then you're in the wrong place, because you could be next.
You know, when I found out that you had gotten blacklisted from Pantheon, I actually couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I didn't even hear it from you, because you're doing your duty, as in trying to keep it covered up. But another person that also got blacklisted mentioned to me that you got blacklisted. So I had to reach out to you.
Yeah. Apparently, they kind of tied me to that person in some shape or fashion. So
That's
I
this
got
whole
I think
sedition mark
yeah,
against you.
exactly. And it's kind of funny because we got ousted, but there were other people on the list that they were working on ousted. But I was an extremely big fish. So when they ousted me, they figured out that the cover up needed to start. And so there were people who were about to be ousted who fell through the crack, who got to stay where they were because they were no longer important. The big example had been made, because you can either make an example by number or status. And being the CEO of Borg and being the Alliance Sov officer, I did have some status in the Alliance, and so my head getting chopped off was definitely an example to the Hair on Fire people to calm down and get their own fire extinguisher, or they were next.
So what's next? What does the future hold?
Well, I'm going to continue working, on the gaming community and on the Sith Collective, um, which has exciting opportunities for advancement right now. Anybody who's interested in getting on the ground floor of it is welcome to come over. Anybody who wants to learn and be a part of an organization that will treat you as you deserve to be treated, and he will make sure that your fun is considered in things, and that will respect you and treat you like a person and not a number, then be brave enough to become Sith, and we're going to do great things, and it's going to be great fun. It's going to be an exciting journey, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope there are people out there listening who want to go on this journey with me as well.
That's good to hear, Elondria, and I'm hopeful that people will join and have a great community once again, just as Borg was. Borg is. Sith
Yeah.
Collective will be good. And it's about
Oh, yeah.
having fun, and maybe
It,
not just in Eve Echoes, but in other games.
exactly. Exactly. In the collective board collective community gaming community, we're supporting EE through the Sith Collective and the board collective. I may not be the CEO of it, but I hold no animosity towards Borg at all. Borg did nothing wrong in any of this. And, we got Second Galaxy. We're exploring Albion and other games. And it's going to be a fun and exciting time and filled with positivity and joy. None of that negative stuff that plagues us in the real world. We're all about community and family and lifting each other up and enjoying our time. Even if we're shooting each other, we can enjoy that. I'm an old school gamer. I believe that you can go and fight somebody and shoot them, and then afterwards meet up and have a drink and just talk about it and compare notes and say, "Yeah, I got you that time," or "Yeah, you got me this time." It's just what gamers are supposed to be able to do, and what creates a positive environment for the community.
So do you feel better?
I do. I really do. Talking to you today about this, it feels like a weight is lifted. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. And I'm glad to have you, not only in my community, but as a supporter of my show. And I'm glad that you decided to tell your story on my show. And I think you were kind of tossing it up on whether or not to kind of do this yourself or go on my show or go on Damon Zell's show, some sort of media. And we ended up here. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you again for opening up your home to me and making me family.
Well, alrighty then. I shall give you the 07, the good luck on your new corp and on a new collective, and I hope the future is bright for you, and I hope it remains.
Thank you.
And I hope all of this just gets pushed behind and you can forget it and just live and prosper, move forward in the brightest of light, and just, even though you're starting new, you're starting fresh. And the mistakes that you've made in the past, you won't make again.
Well, I am a firm believer in learning from one's mistakes and not repeating them.
Alrighty. Well, from there, we'll close it out. Thank you, Elondria.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.